Hey, this is Randy Velker with curesandremedies.net. Answering the question today, how can I tell whether or not I have a yeast infection on my skin? Candida albicans. Hey, this is Randy Velker with curesandremedies.net. Today I'll be answering the question, how can I tell whether or not I have a skin infection, which is a yeast infection of the skin. There are some parts of the skin, some areas of the skin that are much more prevalent to yeast infections than others. For instance, you'll hardly ever get a yeast infection on the forearm or on the calf. The areas that are much more vulnerable to some type of yeast infection are going to be areas where skin rubs on skin, areas that never see daylight, areas where the skin can get broken down through friction back and forth, the anal area, the vagina for women, anything that's in your underpants, wet, moist, dark areas inside your mouth would be a good place for a yeast infection as well on the skin. Sometimes maybe between the joints of your fingers, especially if you work and your hands get wet or your feet get wet and stay wet for a while where it's moist. All of those are pretty good places for a yeast infection to take place. If you're suffering from a yeast infection on the skin, whatever, you're not alone. Yeast infections have been around for all of human history, and sometime in your life, 75% of the population is going to have a yeast infection of some type. So people have been curing yeast infections for all through human history as well, using natural remedies, long before the drug companies came along and tried to, get a corner on the market. Now, I mean, if you're fed up with the yeast infections, or if you've had recurring yeast infections, or you have a current yeast infection right now that you're trying to get rid of, you can have dramatic relief within 12 hours. Go to the link below, it's right here on the screen, and to get the yeast infection program that actually solves the root cause instead of just masking over the symptoms, actually setting you up for a relapse of that yeast infection. All right, thanks.